Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Namaste. We've been talking about 36 tattvas, 36 principles that take us from the gross body to the subtle body to the causal body and then beyond. And it's really kind of fun to get empowered to make the journey at will. And the way we do this, of course, is through the tantric practices of weaving the warp and the woof of all of our tapestry of knowledge into one contiguous cloth that you can wear with modesty. And make sure that we employ all the techniques, all the knowledge, all the information that we've been gathering since day one. If it fits into this equation, use it. And that is our puja Paddhoti. And Paddhoti, let's see what it says here. It says, Puja Paddhoti is the method through which the journey is made. So we start with the upper appendages and lower appendages, and the tongue, the reproductive organ, and the anus, and then we have 5 karma endriyas, 5 organs of action. And we add to that 5 organs of knowledge, and we perceive that everything is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And then we see inside the sight, smell, sound, taste, and feelings. Those are the tanmatras, and we've got the first 20 principles, which make us arrive at the antakaran, the inner cause, which is buddhi, mon, chitta, and ahamkar, those 4. And that is the body of prakriti, and that's number 25. Add to that purush, who perceives it. Mon, of course, we said, is subjective thought, the adjectives and adverbs of experience. Buddhi is objective thought, the nouns and verbs of experience. Chitta is buddhi plus man, everything that we've learned from day one, the objective and the subjective. Ahamkar is me, the I who knows. And Purush is the soul who perceives. We add to this 5 kanchukas, the 5 limitations of the supreme consciousness, the 5 limitations which allow all consciousness to perceive. We perceive in terms of time. We came on time, maybe even a little bit early tonight, about 30 seconds worth. Space, you see, there's a space between all the objects creating relationships in this manifested existence. Rag, there's an activity going on. Everybody's doing something. Even if it's sitting still, the quarks and neutrons, electrons, and atoms are all revolving, and there's movement within every atom. It's all going on all the time. Vidya, there is knowledge of name and roop, name and form. And kala, there's an attribute of some kind. It's got some kind of attribute, it's got some kind of quality, it's got some kind of gun which we can label. Right now, if we look at our bodies, we're pretty much in tamogun, not doing very much. If we look at our minds, we could say we're in sattvagun, because we are learning new things and thinking bright things and learning knowledge which will take us back into that illumination. And if we look at our interaction, we're in Rajagun because we are becoming something else. We are learning new material, and this new material is going to affect us in our future. So the Paddhoti is the method, it's the compilation, it's your synthesis, it's your tantra of all that you have accumulated in your personal experience. that you wish to offer to God. How do you sit? How do you breathe? What does it mean? There's the Vacharth, the dictionary meaning, the Guru art that she told us. It's the Sampradaya art that our tribe defines. It's the Darshan Shastra art. It's the school of philosophy in which we're speaking. There's a Bhav art. What do I feel about this? How intensely real is this definition to me? And there's Swadhyaya art. It's the definition according to my stage of evolution in my sadhana, which no one else can tell me where that is. It's a meaning I get all my own from reading the words of Sanskrit. So in worship, we synthesize our knowledge of the subjects of Sanskrit with the understanding of philosophy, with the practices of yoga, and adding the quality of devotion which focuses our attention, we move awareness through the chakras to unite energy with consciousness. So we have this great metaphor, upamana, this great metaphor that says kundalini is like a snake who's coiled 2.5 times around a Shiva lingam in the Muladhara. Now, I defy any one of you from the medical professions to dissect a human being and find a snake there coiled 2.5 times around a Shiva lingam in your Muladhara. However, for purposes of our illustration, the allegory says that kundalini is sleeping in the Muladhara, and we're going to wake her up. Reality is something different. Kundalini never sleeps. If she sleeps, she only sleeps in a cadaver. If you're dead, she sleeps. If you're not dead, she's very active. But she is active in different ways in different individuals. Well, we're all accustomed to eating, sleeping, and mating and enjoying the life of the lower chakras. And just like the farmers make ruts in the road with their wagons when they go back and forth to the fields, we make ruts in the road from the Muladhara to the Swadhisthana to the Manipur and go back down again. And that is the habit of most of us, that we just enjoy the Kundalini energy as it goes on its annual or its regular pilgrimage from the Muladhara to the Manipur and back down again. So now what we call awakening the Kundalini is in reality awakening consciousness to the rise of Kundalini, where she's always rising and she's always moving back and forth and up and down. We awaken the consciousness to perceive the rise of Kundalini, and we deepen the ruts in the road so that she can easily come from the Muladhara to the Agnya chakra and go out through the Sahasrara and come back down, because that's our habit. So in the Muladhara, we're calling that the first chakra. Its primary element is earth. Indra is the presiding deity, and his Mul mantra is Lam. And in the Swadhisthana, which is the second chakra, the primary element is water, and Varun is the deity of the second chakra. His Bij mantra is Wam, Lang, Wang, Rang, Yang, Ang, Om. And in the Manipur, which is the third chakra, the element of fire, and Agni is the deity, and his Bij mantra is Rang. And the Anahata, which we are calling the fourth chakra, is the element of air. Vayu is the deity, and his Bij mantra is Yam. And in Vishuddha, which we're calling the fifth chakra because we go by the numbers, easy to remember in English, and it's the quality of ether. So we have earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The 5 elements. are situated in the 5 chakras, and his primary deity is Som or Rudra, and his beach mantra is Hum. And the Ajna chakra we're calling the 6th chakra, which is the ultimate Ishwar. He gives the orders. That's why it's called the Ajna chakra. You get all the orders from God in your 3rd eye. And that's the Bij mantra of Om. Om. Ang. Yang. Rang. Wang. Lang. So we brought it all up and we brought it right back down. And we activated each chakra with the element of each of the, with the Bij mantra of each of the deities, which corresponds to the element of existence. And now let's look at the Muladhara and Indra is the perceivable, manifested is manifested existence. And Swadhisthana is the element of water, and Varuna is the deity, and water is always in balance, it's at equilibrium. So here we have manifested existence in equilibrium. In the 3rd chakra, in the Manipur, we have fire, and it's Agni is the deity, and his primary occupation is purification. Remember the sun and the moon and the fire, the 3 eyes in the face of Shiva. In the 4th chakra, in the Anahata, we have the element of air, and Vayu is the deity, and he presides over liberation, emancipation. Nobody tells the wind where to blow. He just blows it whenever he wants. In the 5th chapter is the Bishud, and it's the element of ether, and ether actually is the absence of all elements, which allows movement to take. If all the elements were present together without ether, then there would be no space. How could there be movement? Movement is possible because of space. And the ether is the space between the elements which allows them to move. If they're one by one stacked up all together, then there's no space between them, then it's a little difficult to move. Get out of my way! There has to be a space so the next one can move over. That's what we're calling ether. And that ether is the sound. It allows vibrations, it conducts. All vibrations vibrate in the ether. Were there no ether, there could be no movement. If there were no movement, there could be no vibration. If there were no vibration, then there could be no evolution. And Agya Chakra, of course, is the ultimate. It's the Ananda, the Satchit Ananda of getting your orders from headquarters. It's the bliss of knowing what's next on my agenda. What's the next thing I'm supposed to accomplish that comes from the orders from God? When we listen to God, we listen to Guru, we construct our Paddhoti, we make our synthesis, we make our weaving, our tapestry of our own materials. We've got the materials, each of us, to weave our own tapestries. No one can weave it for us. And when we do that, we know where we're going and we know how we propose to get there. We've got our puja paddhoti. We've got our plan. We've taken control. We've got our discipline. We've got our budget. We sit down and breathe. And then we make a cloister for our senses. We have dharana, dhyana, samadhi. And so this is how we're moving through the 7 chakras. The Hasrara is the lotus of 1,000 petals in the crown of the head. And it's Mount Kailash. Kailasha Shikare Ramye. Parvati was sitting with Shiva on the top of Mount Kailash. And she said, tell me, how do you love the Guru? What is the Guru? Now, where was she sitting? Kailasha Shikar, on the summit of Kailash, where Lord Shiva always dwells, from which the soul exists at the time of at the time of leaving from the body. So now, when we're going to go outside, we go outside from the Sahasrara. This is the chief door. It just opens up, and we get to go outside and look down at that meditating Muni and say, hey, can you imagine I used to dwell in that house? No, it's just one of a number of houses on the same block. Things look different from the top of the mountain. There's really a perspective when you rise up and look down. You get a whole new, a unique perspective on what is important in my scheme of values. How do I construct my value system? What's important to me? So when we rise from the Mooladhara to the Sahasrara, we look down on that body, which was the house of this soul, and I say, why? What greater attachment do I have to that body than to all the other bodies in which my soul dwells? Just a whole unique perspective. So now we make this journey because of paying attention. We pay attention because of our devotion. Remember the basic principle. When you want to learn something, you pay attention. All through our education, our teachers said, pay attention to this. Then you'll learn it. When you want to love somebody, you pay attention. When you want to respect somebody, you pay even more attention. And when you want to worship somebody, you pay even more attention. Meditation is the cultivation of a state of attention. It's the practice of paying attention. And through practicing meditation, we learn how to learn. We learn how to love. We learn how to respect. We learn how to worship. We learn how to unite with the object of our search, with the goal that we've defined. We learn how to become one with whatever it is we choose to unite with. So in the Ramayana, there are 9 steps of devotion which are explained. And the first step of the devotion is to associate with saintly people. And then, number 2, enjoy the stories of divinity and divinely inspired beings. Listen to the Puranas, listen to the Vedas, listen to the Brahmanas, listen to the stories, the Aranyak, listen to the different Itihas and Sahitya. Listen to the literature and listen to the stories and listen to the oral traditions that tell the stories of people that made the journey before us. Because that's going to give us some indication what they did to be remembered by history as such great beings. Maybe I could do something similar in my own circumstances. 3 is feel the privilege to perform selfless service as an expression of love. Please love to do seva. It's a privilege to do seva. Be there before your Guru says do this. Be there with your heart and your soul. Guruji, it's such a privilege to demonstrate to you the sincerity of my devotion. That's called seva. It is not an exchange. It's not I'm paying the rent by cutting the grass. It's not I'm going to sweep up the floor if you wash the dishes. It's not an exchange. It's not a barter. It's not the requirement. It's not an obligation. It's the privilege to say I love you through action. And if you don't love, you're not doing seva. And it doesn't matter how many times you chop wood and carry water. If you're not in love with with doing it and privileged to be doing it, it just doesn't become karma yoga. Karma yoga is the chitta vritti nirod, the prohibition, the cessation of all modifications, of changes and modifications in the objects of awareness. If you don't reach to just pure silence and pure love because of chopping wood and carrying water, it's not karma yoga, it's not seva. You gotta make chop all the time. How privileged I am to have someone in my life to whom I want to show how I feel through doing what I'm doing. The fourth is sing. Mama likes that one. Sing! Sing of divine qualities, of characteristics, without any selfish motivation. Oh, I'm going to be the best singer. Oh, everybody's going to recognize me as the singer of all singers. No, just sing without a hope that you're going to get an A grade in entertainment. Recite mantras with full faith. I mean, when you do your morning chanting, you're not just trying to get through it as quickly as you possibly can. You're not trying to, you got to believe. You got to want to make this your reality. Hey, the Boisha Samadhi did this, Suratra Raja, the king did this, the businessman did this, the Srimad did this, the Ramakrishna did this. I think if I do this in the same way they did this, I might get the same fruit that they got. I really think that's a possibility in my life too. I believe it. These aren't fools. They're not trying to fool me into doing something stupid. They're not trying to trick me so that they get some undue advantage from me. I believe that they are telling me to do this for my own good. Let me try to the extent of my capabilities. Let me try to do this with full faith and recite these mantras and try to understand these mantras and try to live with these mantras and try to live by these mantras. Number 6, perform all actions with tranquility and see every circumstance as an opportunity to manifest perfection. Don't do half the job and turn it in. Say, I'm done, thank God I reached the end. Try to manifest perfection to the extent of our capabilities. To the extent that I'm empowered to, let me make this the fullest, most complete offering of perfection because I respect you, I love you, I want you to grow with this offering, I want this to empower you, I want it to be as nice as I can possibly make it. I want it to be good. I don't want it to be average, I don't want it to be done. In fact, I dread finishing a book. When I write a book, the last thing in the world I want to do is finish the book because I know I just have to start on the next one. The reason I wrote so many books is I can't stand to be without a project. But I want to make it as clear, as concise, as convenient, as appropriate as I can possibly make it. It's got to be the expression of my love. 7, see the world as equal to God and regard the company of saintly beings as a greater opportunity than the perception of God. Now, how can I have darshan of God if I have to close my eyes in order to do it? I have to want to see all of this as divine. Every piece of wood that we chop, every bucket of water that we carry, every dish that we wash, every book that we write, all the karma, it's all an opportunity to be with God. That's the aspiration that we all want to hold, and it's equally as empowering to be able to serve God in the world as it is to be able to sit at the altar and say, Itikandi Pushpe, I'm serving you with flowers. Because by serving her in the world, we're going to ultimately come into contact with some freaks who live on a mountaintop and put flowers at the altar. And one day they're going to say, okay, you guys sit here and put flowers at the altar, and I'll go find another way to serve God. You earn the privilege to expand your relationship with God. By serving God in the world, you get the privilege to serve God through serving the saints and ultimately through serving the temple and serving the altar and serving the congregation. And then you go back in a vicious cycle because it never ends. You just keep going around and around and around. And each time you come back, it's like Jonathan Livingston Seagull. He got the privilege. He got to heaven and he said, wait, this is the end. There's more. There's more to teach, there's more to learn, there's more to do. And for each of us, every time we come to the altar, we get to become the example. And then we take that position and we willingly give it to our disciples and say, okay, follow the example. You put the flowers at the altar. And we find other ways to serve the community and serve the congregation. And then God comes to us and says, you've earned the privilege to go to the next step, the next level of puja. You get to go deeper with greater intensity. And that's how we push and she pulls. And we move through the gates of heaven together. It's a community activity. We go together. Horish Chandra did so much tapasya. All through his life, he never told a lie and he never swerved from the truth. At the end of his days, Indra came to him and said, I'm giving you the privilege to go to heaven right now. And Horish Chandra was a king and he gave up his kingdom for the rishi and he went out and he became a chandala burning bodies in the cremation grounds. And he did the lowest jobs available to humanity. Indra came and said, go to heaven. He said, no, I can't. This is a community effort. I am here representing my kingdom. I can't go to heaven unless you take everybody in my kingdom to heaven along with me. Indra said, that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. Some of your people are poppy. Some of them are tuppy. Some of them are impure. Some of them are pure. Most of them have a little bit of each. Somewhere in the middle. How can we take all the people to heaven? And Horish Chandra, he was a great negotiator. He said, take all the punya that I have earned from all the wonderful deeds I have performed and spread it across my nation. And whoever needs more will take more. Whoever needs less will take a little bit. And we'll all go to heaven for one day. Indra said, Tatastu, I give you the boon. So Horish Chandra took the whole nation to heaven for the day.
Is it true?
It is true.
Yes, true.
You take us to heaven every day for 1 hour while you chant the puja for Shiva. We all go to heaven just being in the aura of your vibrations of worship. Yes. You take us to heaven every day. And sometimes you take us for more than an hour. Sometimes you'd sing some songs like Jai Jagadeka, Anantabhyaga. You sing such songs that put us into so much bliss we can hardly offer the flowers. I can't remember the next mantra.
I should sing every day.
Yeah, I remember those songs. So yes, it is true. Horish Chandra took all his citizens to the whole nation, came to heaven for the day, and they all rejoiced. So you see every circumstance as an opportunity to manifest perfection, and see the world as equal to God, and regard the company of saints as even a greater opportunity than the perception of God. Do you know I once climbed a mountain to see a man who was in samadhi? And he was really in samadhi. And I walked in, I bowed down to him. And he was in samadhi. And I sat there and made my asana. And he didn't move. And I sat there a few hours and meditated. And he was in samadhi. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I got up and left. And he was in samadhi. And I realized at that time that the guy who's already there is of no help to me at all. I need somebody who's also going, who's a little bit ahead of me, who can show me what he's doing. I don't need somebody who's there. I know what it means to be there. I don't know how to get there. I need the inspiration to get there, not the vision of somebody sitting perfectly still, motionless. So regard the company of saints as even a greater opportunity than the vision of God. Because the vision of God isn't going to give you the impetus to change. Whereas the association with saints, satsang, is going to inspire you and inform you and empower you so you can make those changes in your lives. And that's where the value comes, is in progressing. And looking back and saying, Guy, I've been here almost 3 months now. Look back, where did I come from and what am I doing today? That's amazing to look back. Even over a few weeks or a few months or a few years. Suddenly you get a totally different perspective on what it is that you're accomplishing. So the satsang, the association with true people, with the company of saints, is a greater value to me than the company of God. The company of saints is going to tell me to sit down at the altar and put the flowers there and increase my relationship with God. And she's going to show me, okay, say this mantra and put this flower right there. Here's the map. Here's what you got to do. This is how you sit. This is how you breathe. This is how you organize your life. What a privilege to have such an association. You see the other people who come to the Devi Mandir and they're seeking an association of God, and they come in and they bow down at the altar and then they go to the kitchen. Where's the prasad? I just saw God. What change did it make? It didn't make a change until they came to be with Sriman and enjoy the company of saints. And regard that as a greater privilege, because she taught me how to sit in the company of the gods. Number 8, be satisfied with whatever we receive as the fruit of our actions, and do not contemplate the faults of others. That is, do what you gotta do and receive what you're gonna get. Don't become a business person. Don't make it a business. Don't be a Vaishya. You got to trade. I'm going to give you this many mantras for this much dakshina. That's not our business. I'm going to give you the whole 9 yards. No matter what you give me, I know she's going to give me the rest. The balance of the account is with her. I'm not the accountant. Kate ejan say mahajan. The great accountant is the other guy. And she's writing it all down in her ledger. She knows what I gave. She knows what I need, and she's going to take care of me. Be satisfied with whatever we receive in that divine union. It's the fruit of our actions. That's kripa. That's the grace. Kri means do, and pa means get. The grace is what you do is what you get. And if you ask to sell this widget for $1, you'll get $1. But if you give this widget with all the love in your heart, she's going to take care of you for the rest of your life. Now, which would you rather have? $1 or have her? And don't contemplate the faults of others. Quit criticizing each other. Quit thinking about what he didn't do and what did I do, and I did a little more, and therefore he's a little less, and she's a little... Stop! No value. We want to contemplate the positive and accent the positive and get rid of all the negatives. And if there is a negative, well, come right away and say, hey, we could do this together in a greater harmony if we work together. What do we have to do to organize that? You want to sit in the asana until noon or 1 o'clock? That's fine. You help me out after 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. If you want to do, we'll find a way to negotiate our differences. I don't think we have to blow up runners who are jogging through Central Park, or send poison letters to the president, or any of those other things. Well, there are ways to negotiate our differences. Now, so that's number 8. And number 9, remain with simplicity all the time. Renounce conniving for selfish ends. Take delight in faith in God with neither exaltation nor unhappiness. Be simple. Kiss. All the time. Just kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. All the time. Just remember, wherever you go, kiss. And these are the 9 steps of devotion. Oh, Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Let's pause right here and see if there are any questions. How do we take our devotion and take these 9 steps of devotion, weave them into a puja paddhoti, make a tapestry, a synthesis of all of our knowledge of Sanskrit, our knowledge of yoga, our knowledge of philosophy, our knowledge of behavior, our knowledge, all the steps of making a puja paddhoti so that life becomes a puja. Are there questions, please? Yes, please.
We have a question from Elijah.
Namaste, Elijah Baba.
Why is there no mantra for the Sahasrara chakra?
Because it's a door. You're going to exit. You're not going to hang out there. It's a place to leave.
When we say Om,
We say Om in the Agya Chakra. We also say Jum Sha at the Sahasrara. We also say Guru. So there are various mantras. Guru resides in the Sahasrara, and there are various ways of telling the analogy or the allegory of the leaving at the gate and who is the gatekeeper and how it works. So for our principle of the chakra bhed is what we call it, piercing the 7 chakras. There is no mantra to be recited at the top. If you bring your energy up to the Agya Chakra, it will graciously exit of its own accord. Other questions, please? Yes, please.
I wanted to ask, why is Indra associated with Lam in the Muladhara chakra?
La means manifested existence. So Indra is associated with all manifested existence. He is the perceptible energy of the universe. And all is the creation. Anuswari is perfection. The perfection of creation in the gross body is Lam. And that is presided over by Indra, who presides over the Indriyas. And the Indriyas, of course, we have 5 organs of action, which act and interact with the gross body. And we have 5 organs of knowledge, which perceive, and they are the intercourse between the external world and the internal world. So all the exchange between the outside and the inside goes through the senses. We learned that in Charvak. So now Indra presides over the Indriyas. And that's why he's associated with gross world. Yes, please.
Does Yama have an association with the Anahat?
No.
No.
No, he does not. That's a different beads. That's Yam. That's a long and this is Yam. Yes, please.
We have a question from Papia.
Namaste, Papia.
Are there Paddhotis for chanting the mantras in the 6 chakras?
Yes, there are. Oh, we just went through the Buddha Shuddhi, which allows us to recite those mantras 16 times in each chakra. Lang, 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 There are other mantras in the Paddhoti, but that is primarily the Buddha Shuddhi. We're listening to the nad, the subtle sound, the subtle body of sound in each of the chakras, and we're empowering those chakras, and we're empowering the qualities of those chakras. So we have the gross body, all perceptible, all that is perceivable in the Muladhara. We have equilibrium in the Swadhisthana. We've got purification in the Manipur. We've got liberation in the Anahata. We've got pure vibrations in the Vishuddha, and we've got total control and organization and listening to the words of God, the orders from the Guru in the Agnya Chakra. And I won't finish the Vidi because I probably won't finish the class. But you can find it in the Cosmic Puja, you can find it in the Advanced Shiva Puja. Yes, please, Mr. Srini.
Swamiji, how do we relate samskars, like latent tendencies,
Yes.
to the antakaran?
There are, all of us, as we go through life, we collect memories. And we put them in the chitta. With subjective memories are mon, objective memories are buddhi, all of those memories are chitta. Now, as we go through life, we have a good collection. Some of us need a bigger chitta in order to house all the memories that we've stored up. As we go from life to life, these memories become sanskaras. They become a tendency for the soul to operate and function in a certain environment with certain qualities, with certain characteristics to achieve certain goals. That's the individual soul's sanskara. Tendency, there's a abhasana, there are certain desires which haven't been fulfilled or eradicated, and they just come with us from birth to birth. And that's what determined, when you were looking down from heaven, what kind of a family would you like to take birth in? Well, you are an extremely intelligent man. You should become a Brahmin. You're a very astute businessman. You'll become an accounting professor. You are a very analytical mind. You'll become a finance professor. You have a certain tendency to manifest in an environment which is most conducive to you accomplishing the goals which are next in line for your fulfillment. So you want to find the highest harmony between how do you function effectively and efficiently in the world, and how do you spend your time and mind pursuing godliness and bringing that into my world and sharing it with others. So you took the form of a Brahmin businessman who became a teacher. And you have these sanskaras. You found a family that would nurture all of these different attitudes within you. And that would give you the most conducive atmosphere for you to nurture that type of attitude, that type of accomplishment, which is very unique. Because most of the Brahmins you see are sitting outside the temple with a little bowl and some tilak, and they give you a blessing for Panchsika. You're not a Panchsika Brahmin. You're the Brahmin who teaches the analyst at Goldman Sachs how to run the world economy. So that's a very specific attribute, a very specific kala that you took with you from lifetime to lifetime so that you could be a spiritual educator and an efficient educator. Now, take me. I was born as a Vaishya, and I still am a Vaishya. But from time to time, Mother allows me to sit in the temple and pray. So I got to give up some of those old sanskaras of being a businessman, and I became a businessman who prays. Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? I remember that prayer. So in each of our situations, we have taken birth in families that were most conducive to providing the environment that would nurture us to the accomplishment of the sanskaras that we carried in our chitta. Right now, we are accumulating new criteria by which to discriminate what sanskaras do we want to carry forward to our next birth, and what kind of family do we want to take birth in next time. Maybe we'll all just skip it and we'll take birth from Srimha. She's got a lot of kids already. But it would be most beneficial to us if we did take birth in the home of someone who would nurture not only our spiritual inclinations, but also give us the capacity to be self-sufficient economically and politically and religiously and especially aesthetically, and to have a heart full of love and to love God too. So this is how the sanskaras relate to the antakara. We're collecting sanskaras right now. Hopefully. I'll try my best. Without beating them into you. We're actually trying to impress upon all of us the need to cultivate these kinds of sanskaras so that when we take birth next time, we'll come out of the womb as rishis, already enlightened. Like Veda Vyasa said, "Thank you very much, Mother. I'm going to go write the Vedas now." And Matsyagandha looked at him and said, "What? You just came out of my womb." He said, "Yes, but I'm going to do the Mahabharata, and then I'm going to divide the Vedas, and then I'm going to write the Mahabharata when I'm done with that, and then the Bhagavatam." And Matsyagandha, his mother, poor mother, that was a little bit of a surprise. Where did you get those sanskaras?
Russia.
Yeah, Parashara, right. His dad was pretty much illuminated. Other questions, please.
We have a question from Julia.
Namaste, Julia Ma.
Please explain why we should not have exaltation in our delight in our faith in God. It's so delightful. Why not?
Whoa! Julia, what they're saying is that you'll always be the same. Not exactly dispassionate, but you could be passionate all the time. You could always be exalted. You could always be delighted. You could always be full of joy. And you'll never show your depressed, sad self. You'll always share your best. And I believe that's what it means. It means to be the same in every circumstance, Julia. So that you're not just sharing, I'm exalted right now and I'm depressed afterwards. And now that I'm off stage and the camera's not on me, I can be my own self and I'm going to kick the cat and I'm going to shout at the dog and No. We want to be always the same. So I used to go to my guru and I'd say, "Guruji, how are you today?" He said, "I'm the same." Yes, please.
We have a question from Usha.
Yes, Ushima. Namaste.
Could you please explain, how do we see the idea of seeing the world as equal to God compared to the idea and practice of renouncing the world?
Oh, Ushama, I believe with my full heart we are not going to renounce the world. None of us is going to renounce the world. Wherever I go, the world is going to go with me. My only prayer is for the world to renounce me. I am a sadhu, I'm good for nothing, I am a useless character who has only to sit around and throw flowers at the feet of a statue. Now, what do you want with me? What a waste of time and energy and resources to pursue me, world. Leave me alone. Usha, we won't be successful at renouncing the world. All we can do is fill ourselves with the love of God, fill ourselves with the commitment to sadhana, do our tapasya, do our sadhana with regularity, practice your puja Paddhoti. Put on that garment, that tapestry of all the knowledge that you have regularly without fail, and the world will renounce us. But as long as I'm walking around saying, well, I'm not going to partake of that, and I don't want to have that, I don't want a relationship with her, and I don't want to have anything like that, and I've got so many thou shalt nots that I don't have space for a thou shalt. Now, in our Paddhoti, we shall. And that's the purpose of our Paddhoti, is to give us the guidelines. How do we do it? Just focus on the positive and on the love of God, and all else will be accomplished on its own.
I have a question.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I was wondering why the 3 gunas don't show up in the 36 principles.
Oh, no, not in the 36 principles. These 36 principles are designed to take us to nirguna. Now, as soon as you have a preponderance of one guna or another guna, you're not nirguna. So we want to forget the gunas. Forget the qualities. They do, in kala, in attributes. Those qualities are present in the attributes. But they're not, we get rid of the subjective when we put the man in harmony, in balance. So we don't want to have the quality of this and the quality of that. We'll get we have already dealt with the gunas in order to get to this place. We know that our bodies are in tamas, our minds are in sattva, and our souls are in rajas. Our souls are becoming purified, and our minds are becoming filled with knowledge and light, and our bodies are doing nothing. So the gunas are there. Yes, please.
We have a question from Elijah from last class.
Yes, please.
In Dharan, there are other thoughts present, or is there only the three? The meditation.
Well, we'll try to the extent of our capacities to make all the other thoughts vanish, and there will only be the three. So that's the objective of Dharan. Now we start off with our Bhav Samadhi, which is a contemplation, which is Dharan. And that Bhav Samadhi is going to say, I and you and our relationship, and now I want to come deeper and more intense into that relationship where I can't define it. I can only feel it. I can only understand it intuitively. Isn't that what lovemaking is all about? I just make love until there is no more me and there is no you and there is no way to define what's going on between us. And what we're doing is making love to the extent of our capacity where we forget that we are separate. And we become united in oneness. Now that's true lovemaking. Yes, please, Ramya.
Swamiji, in chapter 1 of the Chandi,
Yes.
when the king asks the Rishi, he says, I am a Jnani, but I am having this problem. And the Rishi says, even animals, everybody has that Jnana. I was wondering, does he mean this, they are all at the level of the Prakriti?
No. He says, even though you have knowledge, you still have the problem. But everybody has knowledge of the senses. Even the birds have knowledge of the senses. So you're no better than a bird if you can't control your mind. This is all the play of Mahamaya. You pray to Maya to take the energy away from the senses, take the energy away from the ego, take the energy away from the antakaran, and then you can worship Mother. And when you worship Mother, there will be no separation. She'll take all the asuras away. Now look at those birds over there. They have knowledge, and yet they're taking the food out of their own mouths and giving it to their children. Everyone's got attachment to their children. I love you guys so much. Mom and I will give whatever we can to empower you to be better citizens. We really want the best for you all. I mean, that's why we're sitting here. That's why we built the Devi Mandir, and that's why we're administering it. We want the best for you all. It's not that we want to put you down or keep you servants or make you dependent upon us. We are trying to empower you to independence. Just like those birds were putting the food into their young ones' mouths and saying, hey kids, nourish your bodies, get some strength. You're going to need it because pretty soon you have to fly away on your own. We want to empower you to fly away. We don't want to keep you here. We want every one of you to graduate. And start your own Devi Mandir. And be capable of running the Devi Mandir just the way we ran the Devi Mandir. Without thinking about Etiganda Pushpe, what's on the collection plate. How many mantras did I sell this week? That's not the Devi Mandir. We want to empower you to be givers, and spiritual means giving more than you take. So if you're giving, God is going to give you enough to keep you going, so you can keep giving some more. And if she doesn't like your gift, then find something she likes and give it. And she will take care of you. That's the message. Spiritual means giving more than you receive. So now, here we are trying to empower you, just like the birds are trying to empower their children. Pretty soon you're going to have to fly away from this nest, kids. So eat, nourish yourself. Think about what we're giving. Think about our sacrifice. Think about how you're going to nourish your children. What will be your gift to the next generation? I believe that's the message of chapter 1. She says, even though you have knowledge, you're acting like fools without discrimination because you're thinking about yourselves and what left. You're not thinking about what's here. You are in the ashram of the intellect of love. You are with Medas Muni. Why are you thinking that, oh, I lost my business? Oh, God bless you. God, would that she would take away my business. You lucky souls. You're in the ashram of the intellect of love. Enjoy the process of learning and take the inspiration and grow with the inspiration. And don't think about what left. Think about what's ahead. Think about what's in front of you right now. Don't contemplate my poor circumstances. My children and my wife stole all of my wealth, and now here I am forced to be an ascetic seeker of truth. Poor me. I think I'm in the Devi Mandir. I'm sitting with Sri Swamiji yelling at me. This is as good as it gets. It's pretty cool. I think that's the message of chapter 1 of the Tantric. It's not poor me. It's not my constrained circumstances I am to be pitied. I am to be appreciated, and I appreciate what I've got. I have the proximity. I am in the same loka as my guru. I am in the same karma as my guru. I am in the same perception as my guru. I am in the same form as my guru. I am my guru. That's the path. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.